Part 8 of my evidential research document in relation to the helicopter crash in America on the 10th of April 2025, where supposedly the Spanish CEO for Siemens passed away. I suspect that is a staged event and is not what we're led to believe, very likely triggered as a result of the exposure of this international government fraud. I'm Gary Waterman, a former UK police constable. Please verify and corroborate all of the information I'm showing you. We looked at information linking Jeffrey Epstein to the international government fraud that's being exposed. There's multiple links to him. I doubt very much he's passed away. And we showed how that potentially linked into the Hadron Colliders and the proposal to build a mega Hadron Collider. And then we showed very quickly at the end here how quickly Jeffrey Epstein links to JP Morgan's via Bear Stearns International, which dissolved as I'm exposing the fraud in January 2024. And that link is immediate to JP Morgan, where the Flemings are connected, and to Jordan Company Services. And Jordan's was the company that was used to start Exborn Manor Freehold Limited, where I was removed from by the Flemings, who initiated my removal for refusing to file forged bank documents. So we're going back into the Edge Foundation now. Hopefully you've seen the last part of the video. The Edge Foundation was funded by Jeffrey Epstein. This is linked to one of the directors of Siemens, okay? And on the left there you can see Christopher Winch links to a company called Lanesbury Management Limited. And on the left, within Lanesbury Management, Keith Wooldridge, links to the London Chamber of Commerce and Industry. The London Chamber of Commerce and Industry is an old company started in 1881. Remember, Companies House started in 1844. And on the incorporation document, or one of the documents, for the company, you can see it's a fraudulent company. It's criminal. This is the London Chamber of Commerce, everybody. Very key company, okay? London appears to be the financial capital of the world, and they are criminal and fraudulent, right at the very heart of this. And on the document at the bottom, Waterloo and Sons. Remember what I've said about Waterloo? Very important company linking into the Freemasons, to the royal family, to very quickly to Jimmy Savile, etc. And this very company, okay, the London Chamber of Commerce, featured on the document that I've just released, tying the Iranian leader to Donald Trump, to Benjamin Netanyahu and the royal family. They are all involved in this international collaborative deception against humanity. They're working together, everybody. This includes Vladimir Putin and Mr. Zelensky. All we're seeing is a theatre and a show to deceive us all. It's criminal, it's exploitative, and it's victimising humanity, because it's linked to the taxation system. So to them it's worth trillions of pounds. It's their yachts that they're having, their property all over the world, their luxury holidays, their sex parties, their drugs, etc. And it's all at the expense of the masses. Back into the Edge Foundation on the left, Andrew Stevens connects to Suffolk County Football Association. Okay, remember, football clubs are linked to the fraud all the way through this. Important. And this was started with Farrer and Co. It's exactly the same company that's on Ghislaine Maxwell's companies. She was the director for Oxford Football Club. Okay, so again, another football club, Farrer and Co. And remember, this is coming in from the Edge Foundation, which was funded by Jeffrey Epstein. And of course, that was Ghislaine's boyfriend, according to the research. On the right here, within the Edge Foundation, Andrew Powell connects to Derbyshire District Citizens Advice Bureau. Again, remember what I've said about that before. Oh, where's it gone? Okay, it's the first point of call they direct people to for legal advice. Well, they've got it covered, haven't they? So if anyone risks exposing this, they can be shut down or silenced at that very early stage to prevent the exposure even starting to go towards the legal process. On the right, within the Edge Foundation, John Unsworth connects to Serco Manchester Leisure. We're going to look at Serco as we go forward, a huge, important company. Original name for them, Serco Morrison Limited, okay? Look when it started, 23rd of May 2001, 2 months before, almost to the day, 2 months before Larry Silverstein purchased the lease for the World Trade Center building, and obviously the buildings collapsed. They would be definitely deliberately collapsed, involving the UK and US government and Russian government. In fact, international governments would be involved in that as a mass deception and attack against humanity. and very likely a satanic attack and sacrifice. And look, when they changed their name after that, they changed it on the 7th of October 2002, after the World Trade Center disaster. At no other time did they change their name until they dissolved in 2017. And look at the companies that started it on the incorporation document. Exactly the same companies as Exbourne Manor Freehold Limited, where I was removed from for refusing to file forged bank documents. Swift Incorporations and Jordan's Limited. Jordan's Limited was created, I know I keep saying this, but people might not see every other video. It's now trading as Vistra Limited. It was started in 1965, the year before the Church of Satan was founded. Same director on the left links to Serco Investments Holdings Limited. Okay, a link to the fraud, the address there, One More London Place. Again, it's a criminal company. Swift Incorporations and Jordan's Limited. And that's because, if you haven't seen my previous evidence, Vistra Limited, when you go and look at it now, had the previous names of Jordan's Limited and Jordan's and Sons Limited on the register, on the overview. But when you go and look into the filing history on the incorporation document, it's actually got Hammerplag Limited. Well, that's never been registered, which means it should never have been been trading. And the government forged the register, okay, to create a criminal fraudulent entity company, and the illegality continues through these documents. So this means this company is also criminal and fraudulent and should never have been allowed to trade, and it creates the risk of humanity being targeted and victimized. Okay, so also they're linked to Serco Leasing Limited on the right, and Serco Leasing Limited has an address in Hampshire. Okay, this is where Deborah Fleming was the chief executive for the NHS at Hampshire, Isle of Wight and Dorset, and she was the one who initiated my removal from Exbourne Manor Freehold Limited. And you can see the company dissolved on the 2nd of July 2024. That was around the time that I was identifying the blood being taken from tortured children in relation to all of this and the apparent murder of babies and children. So they dissolved it. And even there's a company in another document called the Satanic Temple United Kingdom Company, and that dissolved, I believe, in July 2024 as well, as I was making the obvious links to the blood taken from the children. And on the right here, you can see previous company names for this company. One before in May 2000, and it changed its name in May 2001. 2 months before Larry Silverstein purchased the lease for the World Trade Center, and then they never changed their name at any other time, okay, until they dissolved in July 2024. On the incorporation document, Clifford Chance, which links to the international fraud and the apparent child trafficking, and I suspect Clifford Chance was actually named after the link to Max Clifford, because that makes the link to Max Clifford. So let's have a look at Serco. Oh, if it loads up. Serco Group PLC is a British multinational defence, health, space, justice, migration. Okay, big issue for everybody at the moment. Remember, everybody, we're all brothers and sisters, no matter what our ethnicity, faith, background, culture. We're all brothers and sisters, and part of the human race and part of the same family. And they've deliberately created this division and labelling and separation to distract from the real problem in the world, and this is these people and the system they have in place. And here you can see it's based in Hampshire, and it has connections all over the world. So it's a very important company in relation to being able to exploit and victimise humanity. And I've just had a quick look at some of this here, because we're not going to have a chance to go into everything. Key people within the company: John Rishton. Well, John Rishton here on the right was born in 1958. The same year that was the initiation for Charles becoming the Prince of Wales. Okay, so if you research it, he was actually started to be initiated as the Prince of Charles in 1958 when he was 9 years old, but he actually became the Prince of Wales in 1969. 1958 is the same year that NASA, one letter short of Satan, was founded. In fact, that was within 2 weeks of Prince Charles being initiated to become the Prince of Wales later. Okay, all ties in. And you can see here that John Frederick Rishton was born in 1958. He's a British business executive who currently sits as the chair of Serco and Informa. He was previously the CEO of Rolls-Royce. This is important, and we're going to look at why in a moment. I think I've got it on here. But first of all, just further information in relation to Serco. The company was founded as RCA Services Limited in 1929. This is 3 years before the important company CAPB Limited started, with the original name of Ian Fleming Co. Limited. Okay, go and look at it. Okay, that company then changed its name the day before Larry Silverstein purchased the lease for the World Trade Center building. It's very important because the address links to what appears to be a Egyptian infiltration of everything, including an infiltration of the Church of Satan, and very likely the death of, or supposed death of Princess Diana in 1997 ties in with that, because the same year, within 2 months, supposedly the Church of Satan's original founder also passed away. In 2001, a new high priest was put in place in relation to the Church of Satan, and the research surrounding that person, is it Philip Gilmore? Can't remember his name, or Paul Gilmore. He appears to link into royal affiliated companies. Going back to this, so they were involved in, it was a radio communication company, okay, back in World War II. It says during the Cold War era, okay, part of the deception, it specialised in the provision of defence systems, engineering, facilities management services, including the maintenance of sonar, early warning, radar and satellite systems. Okay, sonar is another form of technology that is wireless. Okay, now this ties in with, I believe, the threat of directed energy from wireless communication systems, the first one of which the tower was supposedly erected on the Isle of Wight, where Deborah Fleming was the chief executive for the NHS. Okay, Isle of Wight, Hampshire and Dorset, and that links to Marconi. And it appears from the evidence that as they've released each wireless technology, okay, that emits technology through, whether it be sound waves, airwaves, etc., there's been a release of a virus. Okay, so this all ties in, and that's why everyone focusing on the vaccine being the threat and the COVID management are part of this deception, because the real threat is, I believe, and the threat of control, manipulation, physical and psychological harm is from the technology that they use within the energy industry and the radio and frequency waves through the air, etc. So anyway, going on, looking at Serco, it provides support to garrisons in Australia. Serco manages many aspects of operations at the Defence Academy of the United Kingdom in Shrivenham. Prior to June 2021, Serco was one of the 3 partners in the consortium who managed the atomic weapons establishment until it was taken over by the Ministry of Defence. Remember, this is tying into what I'm now starting to believe. I'm now starting to suspect that nuclear weapons have never been real. And I'm going to show information why I'm now starting to believe that. Several people have told me that, but of course I need the evidence really before I can start saying certain things. And further down here you can see Serco is a major subcontractor to Airbus Defence and Space on the Skynet military communication satellites. Skynet, everybody, okay? We're going to come to that in a minute. Serco Marine Services is responsible for fleet support at the 3 main UK naval bases. Portsmouth, where Deborah Fleming was the chief executive for the NHS. It's in Hampshire. All ties in very importantly, okay? The chief constable for Hampshire has just resigned on the same day that I released my evidence of the connection to the Satanic Temple United Kingdom Company, because I featured him on that document. He resigned that very same day. Reading on, it says in November 2022, okay, as I'm exposing the fraud, that's the same year, everybody, that I was making inquiries with Exbourne Manor that led to all of this evidence. The Ministry of Defence awarded Serco 200 million follow-on contract lasting 27 months. Okay, so I suspect they're thinking, oh my goodness, it's all coming out. Let's look as though we're pumping loads of money through, okay, that we can then defraud the public even more whilst we got the chance. Let's increase the taxes. Let's make everything even more expensive because it's all going to end soon. Because they know they're being fully exposed, everybody. You need to stop paying, all right? You're being defrauded, exploited and victimised. We need a safeguarded system put in place. It's very simple to do that, where it's transparent so that the masses can audit the local, national and international finances being used to maintain society. So Skynet is a family of military communication satellites now operated by Babcock International on behalf of the United Kingdom's Ministry of Defence. Babcock, remember that, because we come to that in relation to the research in a minute, and it has featured previously. So it links to the British Armed Forces, the British intelligence agencies. Okay, now because the deception is so vast, we have to now, and I'm almost certain that much of this technology they're saying and the deals with trade in relation to defence contracts, etc., are very likely not even taking place. Okay, very likely is portrayed to us so they can exploit and defraud and control through this system of fraud. Because remember, this is all linked to the taxation system. Okay. They're also connected to, which is a shame I didn't know this before because I've seen these companies throughout the fraud, paradigm companies. And you can see here the Ministry of Defence is currently specifying a new architecture for Skynet to replace the Skynet 5 system, whose funding programme ended in August 2022. Same year, everybody, okay? As I'm exposing the fraud. Reading on, it then links to Skynet is the large part of the Ministry of Defence future beyond line of sight. I'm hopefully going to get a chance to research that, which extends to 2041. Now, 2040, interestingly, is when they've supposedly said they're going to start, if they build it, they may have already built it, remember, because the deception's huge, the Mega Hadron Colliders, when they're going to start actually initiating that device. Skynet 1A was the first military satellite in geostationary orbit in 1969. What have we just been talking about? The year that Charles became the Prince of Wales. And that is where in Wales the Companies House was based, creating the criminal fraudulent entity companies. It's the same year, remember, that supposedly the first moon landing happened. Okay, it's all part of the deception involving NASA, one letter short of Satan. Here you can see it says the Royal Air Force displayed a model of Skynet satellites on the children's television show Blue Peter in 1969. Also, Blue Peter. What have you got? The Blue Lodge within the Freemasons. Very likely all part of the deception as well. I haven't researched Blue Peter, but further down it says in 1972, GCHQ was still the satellite's largest funder and argued for the purchase of an American-built Type 777. 1972, the year after the World Economic Forum. So let's have a look at Skynet and Terminator and how important the Terminator movies are in relation to this, okay? It's my favourite movie, that I suspect that's no coincidence, Terminator 2, Judgment Day. I'm going to come to that in a minute. And it says Skynet is a fictional artificial neural network based conscious group, mind and artificial general super intelligence system that serves as a evil force in the Terminator franchise. Skynet is an AGI, an ASI, and a singularity. Point of singularity, also, if you're not aware, links in to the Hadron Collider and the potential creation of a point of singularity or black hole, okay, to, in theory, if powerful enough, invert the universe and end time itself. We're going to come to that in more detail later. So in the first film, it stated that Skynet was created by Cyberdyne Systems. When Skynet gained self-awareness, humans tried to deactivate it, prompting it to retaliate with a counter-value nuclear attack, an event which humankind in or from the future refers to as Judgment Day. Okay, and we're going to come to all of this in a minute. Judgment Day, of course, ties in with Scripture. Okay, inverted commas, Scripture. Okay, Judgment Day. And the end of time. Or end times. So what is technological singularity? Remember, it mentions singularity there. The technological singularity, or simply the singularity, is a hypothetical point in time at which technological growth becomes uncontrollable and irreversible, resulting in unforeseeable consequences for human civilization. According to the most popular version of the singularity hypothesis, I.J. Good's The Intelligence Explosion model of 1965, an upgradable intelligent agent could eventually enter a positive feedback loop of successive self-improvement cycles. 1965, the same year as the incorporation of Jordans and Sons Limited, and the year before the foundation of the Church of Satan. So let's have a look at, in fact, whilst we're talking about the Terminator movie, let's have a quick recap of the evidence that I've already publicised and some more recent information that's come to light. And we're going to refer back to I think this is the right document, the Trump, Netanyahu and the leader of Iran's connections to the Flemings and all of this, okay? So all the international collaborative deception. Remember, you've had Donald Trump saying, potential nuclear war, ending the world, Iran, we must stop them. They're all working together, everybody. It's obvious now. It's so blatantly obvious. So this document, anyway, it showed the connections to the Flemings, all linking to the same company, Fleming Co., now in the process of dissolving, all linking into the fraud. And then they tried him hiding information in relation to LegalZoom UK. Well, I couldn't access it, put it that way at that point. But I researched it through Wikipedia, and it tied in to this person, Brian Lee, which then linked into Jessica Alba. I hope this is the right document. Yeah, Jessica Alba was involved in projects regarding James Cameron, Dark Angel. Okay, remember we're talking about deception, satanic, angel demons. Okay, James Cameron was involved in that production. And then that led into James Cameron's movie Avatar, which came out in 2009. Okay, the same year as the Prince and Princess of Wales Foundation, okay, was founded. The company, the same year as the Iranian Green Movement, okay, 2009. And James Cameron on the left there was born in 1954, according to this, the same year that the Hadron Collider, okay, was created, or CERN was created, the same year the MK Ultra program started, the mass deception and mind control supposedly against humanity, and he links to Terminator Judgment Day. Okay, he was the one that also produced that movie in 1991. True Lies. It's in our faces, everybody. Lies, deception, Avatar. Also, Titanic. Bearing in mind what I said. Okay, Titanic links to J.P. Morgan. The Abyss, again, one of my favourite movies. But Terminator 2 is my favourite movie of all time, actually. Interestingly, Terminator 2, Judgment Day. But we showed connections linking to, then tying in via Avatar to Ingenious Film Partners, okay, who were one of the production companies. Well, Ingenious Film Partners are on the Royal Foundation of the Prince and Princess of Wales Company document, okay? Literally, they're on the document, Ingenious Film Partners. You can see it here. See in the red there, Ingenious Film Partners 2 LLP. So Terminator links into this in a huge way. Now, here's a screenshot taken from my WhatsApp. Several people have asked me over the last few months, Gary, have you got any proof that you were in the police? So I sent a message to someone who I've just redacted here, asking for an image, a photograph or something, because I didn't have any to hand. And they sent me this photograph. So you can see here, this is the screenshot from this was a few days ago, okay? And they sent it to me, and this is the photograph. Yes, I know I'm small and look very young. And in the corner, you can just see, okay, some videos, VHS, old school. And here's a zoomed in photograph. Now that video is of my favourite movie, Terminator 2. None of the other videos are really legible. It's the only one that's legible and you can really make out. And that is Terminator 2. Here's the actual video cover, VHS cover. You can see the middle spine part then is exactly the same as in the photograph. And it's Terminator 2, Judgment Day. And then someone reminded me of the apparent reference to the World Trade Center disaster within Terminator 2. I didn't know about this until a few weeks ago, actually. So I verified it. So this is a screenshot from me of me looking at the video. And you can see in the top left here, caution 9/11. It's not incredibly clear, but it says caution 9/11. Here's another screenshot. This is on the bridge, and this is a scene, a great scene in the movie, where they're on a a motorbike chase, being chased by a lorry, and the lorry then hits this building, bridge, sorry, can't speak, explodes, okay, and the Terminator liquid metal, bearing in mind what we were saying about liquid funding, Jeffrey Epstein, and you see the liquid Terminator then walk out. So caution 9/11, and somebody's researched this. This is not a standard height. This is not like it's something they would generally put on this bridge. I mean, you wouldn't normally even have cars or anything driving through it, so there'd be no need to have a warning of a height on it because it's a canal system, okay, for water to flow. And there's nothing else at all written on the bridge. And this is just it. When I researched the information, it came up with this image. Now remember, Terminator 2 came out in 1991, 10 years to the exact year before the World Trade Center disaster. And the connections are vast in relation to all of this. Everything's tying in now. It's very clear the World Trade Center disaster is linked to this international government fraud. That means it links to the Prince and Princess of Wales Foundation company, because Ingenious Film Partners is the company that I've looked for and features very, very quickly from every area of the research, also in relation to the World Trade Center disaster. And if you're not already aware, Donald Trump is massively implicated in this deception against humanity. He was the 45th president, 9, add 4 and 9, and the 47th president, add 4 and 7, 11, 9/11, the World Trade Center disaster. Apparently, I'm hearing information. I don't know if it's true. I haven't really been able to verify it, but apparently the 11th of September is the real birthday of Jesus Christ, if that's Jesus' real name. Now, I absolutely believe he was a real person. I believe the story has been manipulated hugely to fit the narrative of this international government fraud. And it's very clear from what they're doing. They're trying to actually remove, it appears, Christianity altogether from the world moving forward. And in fact, it does appear they're trying to create a one world, not only order, but religion as well. And the information I have suggests that they're trying to normalize child abuse, torture for blood, and cannibalism and murder in relation to blood sacrifice as part of that world system. Also, just in relation to 1991, when this movie came out, that is the end of the Gulf War, which will all be part of this deception. And it's also the year before they started to initiate the digital register for Companies House, where all of this evidence has been acquired, where I've acquired it from, where they're forging the digital register against the incorporation documents to create criminal, fraudulent entity companies. That is all relative to this movie. So going back to the helicopter crash, Siemens research or evidence, we're going to look at Skynet now. So Skynet Applied Systems Limited on the left, searching Companies House, incorporated in 1988. So that was 3 years before the Terminator movie came out. Remember, Skynet is mentioned on the Terminator 2 research 3 years before. And it's created by the same companies that started Exborn Manor Freehold Limited. Swift Incorporations on the right, and Jordans and Sons Limited on the left, criminal. On the right, within the company now, Nicholas Holford, links to Logan Place Consultants. On the right, you can see they are linked to international government fraud via Waterlow's. It appears to be a forged document. You can see the lines missing behind it. Remember, the Waterloo links to the Freemasons, the royal family, and to Jimmy Savile, etc. very quickly. And the same director, links to Goose Productions Limited on the left. Oh, where have we gone? Goose Productions. And they were appointed in 1999 before the World Trade Center building disaster, and resigned the next year afterwards in the same month, a year later. On the right here, Henry Beach within Goose Productions links to Universal Music UK Sound Foundation. You can see on the left that he was appointed in 2004 and resigned in January 2022, when I was starting to make the inquiries with an Export Manor Freehold Limited, and he is country of residence Switzerland. Switzerland is important in relation to this because of the Egyptian pharaoh infiltration, I believe, and them now basing themselves in Switzerland. It's where Davos is, where the World Economic Forum hold its meeting. It's where the Hadron Collider is based. It's where the World Health Organization is based. There's also another important company that links to Lucifer references that are supposedly based there. So here's Universal Music UK Sound Foundation. And on its incorporation document, you have an address and company that features throughout the fraud. Broadway Directors Limited. That address links very quickly with the police and government. And also Universal, just before we end this part, connects very quickly to the research of the Israel attacks. I'm showing the screenshot from the Israel 7th of October 2023 attacks. Just to confirm, you have Universal International Studios Limited, all fraud throughout. Now that attack, I'm 100% sure, is staged as part of the deception against humanity. Okay, an international collaborative deception. It's not what we're led to believe at all. And then within that same document, a few pages away, what page is that? 17. It's actually before, actually. So that's page 26. But it's on the same document. You have Siemens linking in to the research of the Israel attack at the Nova Music Festival. You also, on the same document, page 18, GlaxoSmithKline, which then connects to the vaccine situation. Everybody, it all ties in with all of the deception and crimes against humanity very quickly. And the vaccines are very important as part of an international deception, I suspect, to hide the threat from directed energy within the communication towers. Now, I'm starting to feel worse. I think they're ramping up the radiation, and I think you'll find my eyesight's going. I'm almost certain they are going to be using this technology to increase the suffering upon humanity prior to something potentially not nuclear weapons, though, something I believe involving the Hadron Collider. Thanks very much for watching. Come back for the last part, please, in relation to the evidence of the helicopter crash in the United States. Take care. Bye-bye.